calling about my journey through depression,
Yeah.
what I found out, some of the lessons that I found out, and I'm trying to take you through this journey in a very simplistic way, nothing professional. So I'll be killing a lot of theories, a lot of terms, a lot of descriptions that would make anyone go just crazy listening to me. But I'm doing all this for purposes of just breaking down knowledge to help you understand how my journey was. Unanipata?
Okay.
Nothing fancy, nothing. I've made up a lot of the shit I'm telling you because it worked for me. Like the password to your mental safe. Now, what's the password?
WWXDFOBTEST.
Good. And what do we open in the mental safe? One.
We have 2 hearts.
Exactly. Human beings have 2 hearts.
Yeah.
The first thing I discovered
Yeah.
through my journey of depression, you have 2 hearts. And the most important thing is knowing how to differentiate these 2 hearts. Before you make a decision, if you are caught on a wall, if you have too many questions, asking and just pounding that brick wall that is in your head, too many questions, remember, before you make a decision, do the FOB test and answer yourself. Am I making this decision out of haste? Is it a right decision? You see, what else did we lock in the mental safe?
Human beings are animals.
Second most important thing I learned
Yeah.
through my journey of self-healing and depression, I learned that human beings are nothing but animals. We go back to being animals because animals have 5 senses, but all of them also weirdly have a 6th hidden sense known as fear.
Yeah.
And that's when we talked about the other thing. We talked about the separation between fear
Yeah. Religion or faith.
and faith.
Yeah.
Fear and faith. Fear in the wild to the animals that are still animal is killed by the pack mentality. You coming together as a pack. But as a human being living alone, and then you see some dark thing in the corner of your room, how do you kill that fear? You kill it using faith.
Yeah. Jesus, whatever.
And the louder you shout the name of the person you believe, the stronger you become.
Oh yeah, true.
Whatever name you subscribe
Kama
to.
ni Japolo.
Kama ni Japolo, una
Ama
worship.
sijui ni
Ukisema
nani.
Japolo. And the louder you shout, the stronger you become. Yes.
And the less frightened you become.
And the less frightened you become.
Okay.
That's the role of faith. Whatever you
Believe in.
whatever tickles your
Fancies.
spiritual fancy,
Yeah.
if we may say. Unanipata?
Yeah.
Now, this is part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
So we're going to talk about what I discovered. Fear and the brain. The connection between fear and the brain.
And the brain.
So we've talked about the connection between fear and faith and the role of faith.
Yeah.
See, faith was nothing more than a human how to live on earth guide for quote-unquote dummies. It helps. Faith really, really helps. And
Yeah.
I could just imagine a world without faith.
Total chaos.
Total chaos.
Yeah.
Ooh. And one of the people who came up with one of the most followed. What the freaking hell is followed? Mtu wa the one hapa.
Ushanifikisha pale US.
Mtu wangu pale US ama pale UK.
Ama pale UK.
UK. So one of the people who came up with one of the world's most popular faiths actually changed time, and that is huge.
Yeah, true.
Huge.
True. Yeah.
It's
huge. It's very
really,
huge.
really huge. So faith is good, and faith is grounds and a couple of principles in different doctrine, different faiths. Basically, if you look at all of them, it's like they're speaking.
Ground people. Yeah.
No, they're speaking somewhat of a similar language.
Yeah, true.
Like killing is bad.
Yeah.
Beating someone is bad. Stealing is bad. Disobedience. Basic ways of living. Now the problem comes in when man the greedy man who's
Wants
in
to
search
monetize.
of the coin,
Yeah.
in search of the money, who wants to monetize it. And then comes the prosperity faith, where you're taught, if you give more,
You
you
get more
earn more.
blessings, yeah.
Exactly. And for those who give more in churches, sit at a particular point, and maybe like the church I used to go to, an example, for those who were actually doing well, you were giving them a good spot. Those who are supporting the church. And you see, over the years, different denomination, different people, different faiths, different whatever, have misconstrued the true meaning of faith,
Yeah.
religion, and all this.
Yes.
To a point of now confusion, the point of fighting, to a point of showbiz. and,
Of
and in
course.
Africa, especially, we go down under to the south, it's crazier. It starts getting crazier when you're going down from the
Huko
north,
chini, huko.
going south. And once you get to the Cape, the Cape Town, it's
The
crazy.
lower you go,
lower
the
you go,
crazier it
the
becomes.
crazier it becomes when it comes to faith.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Now, in this part 3, we're going to talk about what I discovered about the brain, the connection of the brain and fear. Now, I'm going to do this and explain the brain in a very interesting and simplistic way. We're going to start talk about the functions of the brain. We're going to go deeper into some of the specific parts of the brain that control fear and memory. And I want to take you through the journey that I took, step by step. If you get lost, just tell me. And if you're listening to this in the future, you can just rewind. As simple as that. So, and in this particular session, I want, because it's mental, so I want to engage your brain more.
Okay.
So I want you to work with me. Hata before tuanze nataka kwanza ujiseti.
Kwenye sahani.
Kasana, chapa sana. Because I want to engage your mind. So, good. Chapa sana. And make sure you sit properly, you sit relaxed, because I really, really want to engage your brain. Sasa?
Yes.
Watch your chapa sana. Okay. So, for starters, I want you to imagine. Now, we're working with your brain, Sasa.
Yes.
So I want you to imagine that you're stretching out your hand in front of you. Don't move your hand. Don't stretch your hand just the way you are. But imagine you're stretching your hand, any hand, either the right hand or the left hand. So have you stretched it?
Yeah.
So I want you to look at that hand that you've stretched. Mentally, just looking at it, look at the palm of your hand, the stretched one. Are you seeing it? So I want you to picture a ball, a round ball. You're holding a round ball on the palm of your hand. And you can see it clearly. Sindio? Not very big. Let's say half the size of your head. I know your head is big, but let's do half the size. Let's just do. Okay. Half the size of your head, round. Something interesting. I want you to think about. Crazy. Just work with me. Just don't even ask any questions. Just work with me. Think about a mosquito net. Yes, you still have your ball there. So I want you to take a mosquito net and I want you to wrap around that ball on your hand and wrap it perfectly. I want you to turn the ball and make sure it's tight. It's covered all through, tight, like really, really tight, skin tight. Like it's like the mosquito net is now the skin of the ball. I want you to turn the ball with your mind and just see, confirm, up, down, confirm. Are you turning the ball? Are you seeing? Good. You can see you have a ball with a mosquito net skin around it. And then you can see the mosquito net boxes. Sindio?
Yes.
Yes, I want you to turn and see the boxes. You can see the boxes and around the ball. How many boxes do you think around the ball? 10,000?
I don't know. 100,000.
100,000. I love the guess. No, spin the ball again. Give me another guess, a good guess. All the boxes around that. They're very small boxes.
Another guess.
No, final answer. 100. Let's go with 100,000.
Yeah, let's just go with my first.
Okay, 100,000. Interesting fact. Now, in this case, the ball that is inside And then you have the skin, which is your mosquito net. In this case, the brain, the main parts of what makes you move, the brain, is your ball. Unanipata?
Yeah.
And the mosquito net on this side are now the neurons, the sensors.
I get you.
Unanipata?
Kapsa?
Are you seeing all those boxes? Those are the sensors on your brain, the neurons. Now, the craziest thing about it, you said that ball. I want you to look at your ball again. I want you to turn it. You see the 100,000 small boxes, mosquito net boxes. That is 100,000. And you can see it's really, really small. I want you to pull that ball close to your eye, your mental eye. You can see it's really, really small. Okay, turn it back. Okay, stretch it back. Okay, where it was. Good. Now, the craziest thing about the brain, you see all those small boxes, all those mosquito boxes here are your neurons. Now, it's crazy because your brain doesn't have 100,000 neurons. It has 1 billion neurons. Now, you see those small boxes. Thank you. You see those small boxes, mosquito boxes, they're not 100,000 on your brain. They're 1 billion. Now, imagine 1 billion small boxes around that small ball. That is exactly how powerful your brain is. Now, you see those small boxes, let's go back to those boxes. The small mosquito net boxes, each represents a thought. I'm making this as simple as possible.
Nakupata. Tuko
Sindio?
pamoja bado.
Every mosquito net box consists of a thought of what you can do, what you can think about at a particular time.
Yeah.
Because your brain can think about 1 billion. It can do a billion calculations a second. So that's the power of your brain. So if you're thinking about one thing, you're stressing only one mosquito box. Yeah, mosquito net box. And you still haven't, like almost 1 billion to go. That's the power of your brain. Are we together?
Yes. Onani.
I'm messing up with your brain.
Okay.
Good. Now, that's how powerful your brain is and the structure of your brain. Now, still bringing you back to the small mosquito net boxes. So each mosquito net box, let's call it a neuron.
Okay.
A neuron is basically, in layman's language, let me just kill everything. It's like a messenger. So two things we have learned. Two things we have separated. Number one is the mosquito net, which are your neurons. And then we have the ball.
Yeah.
Whatever color it is, white, green, whatever.
Which is your brain.
Yeah. The small ball, the round ball, and the mosquito net.
Yeah.
The neurons and now the brain. So, and for the neurons to communicate with the brain, there's a chemical that actually helps in the communication. Now, those chemicals are known as neurotransmitters, making sure that your mosquito net is talking with your brain. So if you see something that scares you, your mosquito net will pick it and shoot it straight to your brain, shoo, and tell your brain to run away or scream or do whatever. That's how your mosquito net connects with your main brain. Unanipata?
Yeah.
The main part of the brain. So we've talked about the mosquito, we've talked a mosquito net, and we've talked about the brain, but we've not really delved deeper in the brain to understand what parts of the brain that control depression, they control mood, control fear.
Fear and feelings.
So the brain is very, very big, and it has a lot of parts. We can't really talk about all of them, but I want to narrow down, like pinpoint one part of the brain that controls all this. Now, this part is called the limbic system. Now, the limbic system has 5 parts. We have the hippocampus, we have the amygdala, we have the hypothalamus, we have the thalamus, and the cingulate gyrus. Forget about all that fancy words. I just want us to focus on 2 very, very important parts of the limbic system. The limbic system controls your aggression, your fear. It is a part of the brain that controls your fear. It's a part of the brain that controls your memory. Now, the hippocampus here controls your memory. It's a part of the brain called the hippocampus that controls your memory. Unanipata. And there's
Yes,
a part of the brain called the amygdala that controls your fear and your aggression. Now, these two things are very, 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 very important. There's two parts of the brain. I narrowed down faith, fear, and everything that runs you as a human being is controlled by the part of the brain known as the limbic system. And to narrow it and to narrow it even more deeper, I'm just going to touch on two. The amygdala, which controls your aggression, which is just being rude and your fear. Unakunja mkia and run away. It's your fight or flight. And the second one is the hippocampus, which controls your memory. Now, when it comes to memory and when it comes to depression, memory plays a key
big role.
and vital role.
Yeah.
If you've been in an accident with someone and you were the one driving and everybody dies and you stay,
That's a memory.
your brain recorded all that and kept it.
Yeah.
When you lose a loved one, the memory of you living with them, the entirety of their lifetime, up to the point of death, is stored by the hippocampus. It is a memory. The good times you shared with someone before you broke up. The bad times of you being beaten by someone. It gets deeper. When you watch movies and you become so emotionally attached to a scene, to a part, it sticks in your brain through the hippocampus. Oh, and it is really assisted by the amygdala, which controls aggression and fear. If you fear something, the amygdala steps in. You run, you bolt away.
Okay.
You get?
Yeah.
When it's deep fear to some point, the hippocampus steps in, records it, and stores it in your long-term memory.
Yeah.
The brain stores things in long-term, short-term memory. I don't want to get really deep into all the parts of the brain and what exactly they do, but I'm just looking at it holistically for you to understand.
Better understand. Yeah.
Remember, two parts of the brain, the amygdala,
And the hippocampus.
hippocampus, two parts of the brain that any depressed person needs to know about. You understand? If something is really good, connects with you, it imprints in your brain, gets stored.
Yeah.
If you watch a movie when you're young and it really scares you,
It's imprinted in the brain.
like the one I watched where
Yeah, coffins.
the coffin was coming from a certain corner, from the roof, sliding down the wall. Haunted me the entirety of my life until I knew how to control my brain.
Yeah.
It was crazy. The hippocampus.
Yeah.
Remember, your brain has 1 billion small mosquito nets to use. And if you don't know how to control them, most of them will control you.
Nakupata.
And if you don't know how your brain works, how the brain stores things. You see, it's crazy how when you go on social media right now, everything you look at just shows death. The bloodier, the better. The more gruesome, the sweeter.
The
sadder, the better. Hollywood is packaging and repackaging sadness and darkness, truckloads, and just dumping all that on social media platforms. We are consuming through the movies, through everything, through the music. Everywhere is depression, sorrow, sadness, grief. Just a cocktail of just everything bad.
Yeah.
And we are consuming it. It has become so bad that right now, I can't even remember the last time a popular, even black, Tyler Perry or whatever, Christian movie or series trended.
Yeah, true.
Oh, we love Hell's Kitchen. We love Lucifer. Right now. Lucifer is trending more than any Christian series. Death, despair, hunger, everything bad. The sadder, the better.
The better.
And we are consuming that. It has gotten to a point that we are subtle about anything bad that is happening. If you see death on social media, even social media platforms, some of them were censoring. Nowadays, you find the most gruesome of things on social media, and we are fine with it. The movies our kids are watching. It's crazy what we are feeding the hippocampus. And we do not know.
You're storing it in your brain.
Your peripheral mind is recording always.
And storing it in the long-term memory.
Recording and storing. And if something shocks you, love it or not, it is imprinted permanently in your brain.
Yeah.
It is at the back of your brain. And that is why sometimes you walk around in the dark and you start seeing ghosts. You're seeing a blend of all the ghosts that have ever shocked you, all crammed up in one. From the movies, from the Afro cinemas, from the everything that the hippocampus was storing. Now when fear kicks in, when the amygdala is injected, when the amygdala is actually, shot. Oh my goodness gracious. It's either you fight or you flight. When adrenaline starts now pumping in.
Yeah.
Man, nigga. You see, when you're angry and the amygdala does its jobo, your limbic system in most cases is knocked out. Your hippocampus is knocked out. Your short-term and long-term memory is knocked out. And remember, let's open your mind sieve and get the second lesson we learned. We are all animals.
Yeah.
And when your amygdala does the thing with the fight or flight maneno, it destabilizes everything. It vetoes everything because now your survival instincts as an animal kicks in. When your survival instincts kick in, your mosquito net that is sensing the danger shoots the chemical
to the brain,
to the amygdala, which is the brain. Tells you, this one, it's either we fight or we flight. Stop everything. Danger is here. You are dying. When you're arguing with someone, during the fight or flight stage, when the amygdala is actually really, really pushed to the limit, everything in your limbic system, which controls your mobility, controls your mood, everything gets knocked out. You run or you
fight.
You fight. If I tell you, we're arguing, do you know the sky is blue? No, the sky is orange. It is orange. You cannot even agree with me on simple and basic things. So the brain is a very interesting organism that works with fear. And fear pushes the brain to the limit. Because now the brain, in times of fear, your brain has to inject the survival mechanism, has to push. In times of fear, your brain has to push the survival mechanism red button. Pa!
The defense mechanism.
Ding, ding, my nigga. Everything stops. Even when I ask you your name,
you won't remember.
You won't remember. We will argue because of petty things. Now, it is the same chemical that is released in the wild when an animal is defending its ground. When the alpha is fighting for the pack. When a lion is attacking its prey. It is the same chemical. Because remember rule number 2 in your brain. All of us are animals. The same instinct to defend your ground is the same instinct every animal and human being has. You get me?
Yeah.
So we've talked about the mosquito nets in there. And we also talked about the amygdala and the hippocampus. The hippocampus storing the memory. And the amygdala controlling your fight
or flight.
So let me pull you back to your mosquito net, which are your neurons.
Yeah.
So for the mosquito net to communicate with your small ball, it has to send a messenger, or in this case, a neurotransmitter.
Okay.
So I want us to talk about two very important neurotransmitters. So the first one is called noradrenaline or norepinephrine.
Okay.
Now, noradrenaline or norepinephrine is in charge of the fight or flight. Unanipata. So if you see something that is scary, you'd want to run away. So it is noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Who now? Norepinephrine. Thank you. Noradrenaline or norepinephrine that is actually triggered. Inakimbia.
Hiyo ndio inakuwa released.
Inakuwa released. Unanipata. From your mosquito net, which is
To your brain.
To the brain. Hiyo ndio inafanya hiyo kazi. On this other side, that is the physical one. You see, the physical one. I'm going to talk about two neurotransmitters. So one handling the physical one, and the second handling the emotional one. Something that is internal.
Okay.
Unanipata.
Yeah.
So the first neurotransmitter is noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Now this one, as I said, it handles the fight or flight. If you see something that is really scary, you'll run away. Now that is noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Now let's talk about the emotional neurotransmitter. Now this one is called serotonin.
Okay.
Now what serotonin does, this one is the mood. You feel sad, that is serotonin. You feel emotional, you feel touched, you feel hot, you feel depressed, you feel moody, you feel
sad.
That is serotonin. That is short. You see something that touches your heart, immediately serotonin. So another thing that serotonin does, serotonin helps control your sleep. Yes. So if you have a sleeping disorder, chances are when you go to the doctor, he will diagnose you and give you medicine that will help you control the serotonin levels in your system. That is the problem. Yes. There's nothing magical about it, by the way. If your problem is sleep, chances are the doctor is going to prescribe something that's going to help you control your serotonin levels. Another thing that serotonin does, nigadhinyix moto wangu. That time when you're with your kamondos, you want to call your mondos, serotonin is actually hit.
Hiyo ndio ina
Unasikia gadhinyix ponadhinyix.
nasikia vizuri.
That is serotonin. Another thing that serotonin does, it actually helps in your bone health. Unanipata. That is serotonin. But that is a lot of gibberish. And if you don't think it, I was just flossing about serotonin.
Of course.
But the most important thing, remember, in serotonin, it actually controls your mood. Unanipata.
Yeah.
It controls how you feel in the inside. Unanipata. Yeah. It controls your fear, your depression on the inside. On the outside, kumbuka, we have noradrenaline or norepinephrine.
Oh yeah.
That's why unasikianga ati adrenaline yangu imepanda.
Adrenaline iko juu.
Steam panda. Steam imepanda. Steam.
Mori.
Mori imepanda. Mori is actually called noradrenaline or norepinephrine.
Okay.
Umenipata. And it's all in the brain, working in the brain. Umenipata. Remember, those are the chemicals that are shot from your mosquito net to your ball. And I know the question in the mind is, now what happens if this serotonin, you guy, is kidogo? It happens with a deficiency of serotonin. If serotonin now controls my mood, I now know that serotonin is the monoamine neurotransmitter, or rather, it is the messenger from the mosquito net to the ball. That now controls my mood. Yeah. So if the messenger, if this messenger is too much, what happens? If this messenger is too low, is too little, if I have very few messengers, if I have too many messengers sending and saying my mood is bad, what happens? If I have a deficiency of these messengers, what happens? Now, a deficiency of serotonin in the body would cause number one, an imbalance in your anxiety. So you'll have a lot of anxiety attacks all the time because of serotonin imbalanced level. Another thing you're going to have a lot of panic attacks. Now, this comes also as a result of imbalanced serotonin levels. You're also going to have mental obsessions, obsessing about something, obsessing about a question, obsessing about a death, obsessing about a relationship that ended, obsessing about a failed business, a failed marriage, a failed friendship, obsessing. Why? Am I pretty? Am I beautiful?
I get you, yeah.
If you have imbalanced serotonin levels, that is obsession, mental obsession. You're going to have a lot of pain. You're going to feel a lot of pain, a lot of emotional pain. This is pain you cannot quantify. You can't measure this kind of pain because it's pain that you feel in your second heart. Remember, the second heart. You feel so much weight and pain there, mental, because
So
of
much strain, yeah.
so much strain because of imbalanced levels of serotonin. You're going to be deeply depressed. Now, extreme imbalanced levels of serotonin in the brain cause extreme depression. Yes. So the heavily depressed are the ones who have heavily imbalanced levels. Also PMS and sleep cycle disturbances. So if you also have imbalance with your serotonin levels in your brain, you're going to have intermittent sleeping patterns. You're going to have a lot of insomnia. If you have a lot of insomnia, you really can't sleep. And you're stressed.
Insomnia.
I can't sleep. I have stayed like a week without sleeping. I have stayed
Like 2 days.
So when you go to the doctor, chances are high they'll give you something that will control your serotonin levels. So if you just look at your prescription, your medicine, you'll see that something about serotonin there. Yes. So if you're talking about fear, real fear, because now fear is controlled with depression, with the questions, with all of this that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And guess who's the main suspect? Serotonin. So serotonin controls all this, mentally and biologically speaking. Yes.
Serotonin is in charge of, in short, just depression.
Yes, your
and
mood.
all that, the bad mood.
The bad mood. The bad mood. So understanding the brain for me was very, very important in my journey through depression. Because I understood that only I have the power to heal myself. And digging deeper in the brain and understanding the power of what I can do, understanding that whatever I want, I can attain.
You control everything.
I control everything that is within me. The power is within me to learn a new language, a new skill, to push myself to the limit. I understood that there was no one born a genius. There's nothing like genius.
Yeah.
There is nothing like genius.
It's
It's either you have less information or more
you have
information.
more information. There's nothing like being a genius.
There's nothing like a genius. A genius is just basically people who have a lot
of
information which is publicly available, but most people choose not to explore what you're given publicly. It's crazy. Yeah. So once I understood that and I dug deeper, I understood how not to stress myself with questions I cannot answer.
Yeah.
For things that are beyond my
Your
control, my reach, my understanding, things that I cannot manipulate physically, monetarily, or even speak to for them to change. If I cannot control that, I cannot stress myself. I cannot bother myself with the death of my dad. When my dad died, it really hit me. It hit me because I remember the days that old man wanted me to connect with me. The days he wanted. There's a day the old man wanted us to go and to the tailors and just get this crazy ass, I don't know, called kaunda suits or something. Weird ass African suits. A kaunda suit is a very famous suit in the 90s. Former Zambian president called Kenneth Kaunda came up with this really cool suit. 1964 to 1991. He was the president of Zambia. Now the suits are very, very cool. So my dad, that time in the 90s, everyone had those suits of the Kaunda suits.
The Kaunda
Yeah,
suits.
with like a small weird. It was weird. I can't really. It was so weird for
It
me
was
to
weird.
even describe. You see, and I never connect with the old man. And you see, when he died, I carried that. I really, really carried that over the years. The guilt and why didn't I connect? And that was the last thing the old man wanted us to do before he died. So I really carried that heavily in my heart. And over the years, I didn't know how to shut it off. Growing up and understanding my brain, I understood that, you see, it's right now beyond my power. It's beyond my control. I cannot do anything. I can't go back to the same tailor, the same moment. It's gone. It's gone. I have no power. And I can't keep on bogging my mind and allowing that punch to keep on hitting my brick wall.
And there's nothing you
And
can
there's
do.
nothing. I'm just allowing that punch and that question to keep on hitting my brick mental wall that will crash for me if I keep on allowing it. Why?
And you're the one who's allowing it.
I'm allowing it. You see, there's no answer. There's nothing. It's a question that is punching a brick wall that has no answer. You get?
Yeah.
If you understand it from this other side, you'll have bigger power than someone who gives it to faith. Are you understanding?
I understand you.
Because faith will not be used to control you in times that you need faith to step in, and faith can't be
Step
found.
in.
Are you understanding?
Yeah.
If you have the power in your mind to do what faith can and do it properly,
Do it.
do it.
Don't wait for faith.
Don't wait for faith.
Yeah.
Don't wait for anyone. Not just faith.
Don't wait for anyone or anything.
You see, your brain is so powerful. I want to bring you back to the billion mosquito boxes on top of that small ball.
Yeah.
That's how powerful your brain is. And you're letting one question, one box
Break your wall.
If one question is one box and your brain has a billion, are you understanding what
Yeah.
depression is? If you understand depression from that point of view,
Yeah.
and how depression is healed and cured, I understood when I got to that point. I got to that point, and then I pulled myself out, and then I looked around and like, whoa, when was the last time I was actually depressed? I was almost 3 months in, 4 months in my research. So my research actually helped
Helped
me.
you.
Yes. And when I got to that point, I understood the way that I cured myself from depression was keeping my brain busy with things that matter, understanding my brain, understanding my businesses, bringing everything back to where it was and just scaling everything up. And now understanding and having this power to know that that I cannot let my future be decided by faith
Or karma.
or karma, by saying God knows my plan. No.
I leave it to karma.
No. You freaking do it.
You are the karma.
plant
Yeah.
today as a farmer so that you can reap tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
You sow today to reap tomorrow.
Yeah.
It beats purpose that it has been raining and you as a farmer did not put any seed to the ground, and when other farmers are actually going to their farms to harvest, you're also walking, proudly singing Kumbaya with them, going to reap.
Yeah.
It does not
Does
make
not
sense.
work like that.
It does never
It does
never work like
that.
that. Are you understanding me?
Yes.
Yes. When I got to that point, I understood the more I keep on crying about the situation I'm in, nothing is going to change.
happen, yeah.
When I was depressed, extremely depressed, and you were with me, we were left alone in this house, just you and I.
Yeah.
People ran away. I was glad to be with you. That's why you really helped me come out. You see, and it's crazy. I can just imagine if I was alone. But I understood from that point that keeping my brain busy on what really matters. Okay, I am down. Do I keep on crying? No. Who's going to pull me up? Me. Who wants the best for me? Me. Who knows me better than anyone? Me. At the end of the day,
it's just you.
It is just freaking me.
Yeah.
No one wants the best in this world for me better than I do. And the moment I discovered that, from a mental, scientific level, it changed everything for me. I knew that if I wanted my tomorrow to become better, I needed to start today. If I wanted my future to be better than my current, I needed to do what I've never done in my past.
Yeah.
Are you understanding me?
Yeah.
I understood that on a micro level. I understood that I am my own cause of depression. I am depressing myself. There's no one who beats me down better than myself.
Yeah.
There's no one who disappoints, who lets me down better than me.
Than you.
There's no one who hates me better than me.
Than you, yeah.
Because I keep on asking myself, am I worthy to stand in front of people? And people are calling me scam and all that shit before we came out and cleared the whole thing. You see, you walk out there and then you're wondering. You feel like you have this stain on you, this tag that everyone just sees you're a scam. Everyone just sees you're a whore. Everyone just sees you just...
This Kamonto.
Exactly. Everyone just sees that you just had an abortion. You get me?
Yeah.
You just cheated on someone. You just slept with... You just...
Did something.
You just did something wrong.
Yeah.
It's a walk of shame.
Yeah.
Crazy. Now, the walk of shame mentally is controlled by serotonin. And we've talked about it.
Yeah.
And speaking about that, I almost forgot something very important. Let me take you back to your mosquito net. The 1 billion around your small ball.
Yeah.
Your neurons. There are different types of neurons. Remember, your neurons are the ones that now sense, and then they shoot to your ball, which is your brain. They do stuff, and then in between them, there's a chemical, the neurotransmitters. We've talked about noradrenaline, norepinephrine. We've talked about serotonin. Yes. Now, let me bring you back to your mosquito net. On the mosquito net, I want to focus on one box, which is a one neurotransmitter. One neuron. Yeah. That's my name. Yeah. Okay. Let me bring you back to the mosquito net. Cindy, let me bring you back to the mosquito net. And I want us to focus on one mosquito net box. Now, that is one neuron. Cindy, so I want us to focus on one neuron that is very, very important. You have many, many neurons, but I just want us to focus on one. And remember, this is the only one that I want us to focus on that I've mentioned. It is called the mirror neuron. Okay. I've mentioned the 3 parts of the brain. I have mentioned the mosquito net, which are the neurons. And then I have mentioned the ball, which is now your brain. And we talked about the amygdala and the hippocampus, that part. We've talked about, now coming back, we've talked about the messenger that links your mosquito net with your ball, which is the neurotransmitter. Those are the messengers. We've talked about noradrenaline. We've talked about norepinephrine. We've also talked about serotonin. Now, we are now back up on the mosquito net. Now, the mosquito net, I just want us to talk about only one example there. The mirror neurons. Now, tumesema neurons are basically the messengers who start this whole thing in a very simplified, simplistic way. Now, the mirror neurons, they are also known as the empathy neurons. They are the woye woye, the ma feelings neurons.
Yeah.
Now, these are the main neurons that actually control mood and everything. Unanipata. It controls mood because it mirrors the internal you and compares you vis-a-vis other people. And that's why you ask yourself, am I pretty? How will they
Am I
think?
good?
It's called a mirror after just the mirror. How you stand in front of a mirror and look at yourself. Do I look pretty? Is my ass big? Are my boobs enough? Is my stomach flat? Am I tall enough? Am I pretty enough?
beautiful? Yeah.
Do these heels pop up my ass? Does this bra firm up my... That is the mirror neuron.
Yeah.
Now, without the mirror looking at it, now it's your brain mirroring and looking yourself, comparing you,
Self in the inside.
yourself with other people. What will they think about me? If I walk out this walk of shame, that is the mirror neuron. Will they notice that I'm repeating the clothes? Will they notice that... will someone see me getting out of this house? Will the cleaner notice? Will he or she notice if I pick something from this drawer? If I hot finger something, will they notice? If I sleep with her or with him, will my spouse notice? If someone texts me and then I quickly will they
Delete
see?
it, yeah.
Will they delete it? See, that is the mirror neuron. It asks too many questions. Now, the problem with the mirror neuron, if you do not know how to control it, it will definitely control you. It is the mirror neuron now that starts to spark the array of questions that hit your wall, your mental wall. It is the mirror neuron that keeps
starts
on
everything.
pounding everything. And that is why I have focused on it.
Out of the billions,
Yes.
you've mentioned just that one.
Yes, exactly. And that's why I've actually focused on the mirror neurons.
Yeah.
Billions of neurons in the brain. But that is exactly what controls the mood, because it compares you. What will people think about
Yeah.
me? What do they say? People will people will blame me.
Do they love me?
Do they love me? They'll blame me for his death. What if they see me with it, walking with his family member? What if they see me with you? What will they say? Now, if they see me with your pregnancy, how will they judge me? If they see me as young as I am, keeping this baby, what will they say? If I fail, where will I go? If I fail this job, what will my dad say?
Yeah.
If I come back pregnant, what will moms? If I cannot come up with rent, what will my landlord do? If my business doesn't work, will my landlord understand?
Understand, yeah.
If I can't have school fees, will the teacher understand? If I stand at the stage for another hour, will the fare go down? Are you understanding these questions? If I ask for another cup, will they choma me? Are you getting? These are the questions your mirror neuron
If
keeps
I ask
on-
for another sahani,
Will
will
they-
they give me?
Asante! Kazi ya nini? Mirror neuron.
Yeah.
So the mirror neuron is very important in the brain. It is what starts everything. Remember, from your mosquito net, we have the mirror neuron.
Yeah.
And when you move down, the chemicals now that now connect the mosquito net with the ball, we've mentioned only two, noradrenaline and serotonin.
Yeah.
Noradrenaline is also known as norepinephrine. Unanipata. Now, moving down to the ball, we have where the brain is, where everything now gets, the action gets going. We've mentioned only two parts in the limbic system. Now, the limbic system has 5 parts. Well, we just narrowed down into two parts. The amygdala, controlling the fight or flight, and the hippocampus, controlling the memory. And we've explained what movies do to your brain.
Yeah,
Yes,
everything.
Everything. Social media messes you up. The movies we love, everything messes you up. And over time, all these pictures and all the experiences you've had in life bottles up, gets stored in your brain. So when you experience something traumatic, it gets stored. When you experience something good, emotional, it gets stored. Your brain is in constant recording. Even when you are sleeping, when you're actually sleeping, your brain is not sleeping. Your brain is operating, still working, it's still doing the calculations. That's why when you sleep and you think about a problem, chances are high you wake up in the morning, you've already solved it.
Yeah.
So when
True.
when you really, and that's why you're told you're very, very creative in the morning when you go to the shower. Oh, the creativity in the morning at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m.
It's crazy.
It's crazy because that's when you went to the bed with this in mind, and you wake up, the brain has solved everything because you've given it time to operate in a delta level kind of state of mind.
With no disturbance.
With no disturbance, with nothing.
Yeah.
And you are perfect. You get. So when I understood all this during my depression state, it kind of like gave me more purpose to live, to understand more about this world, and knowing that my destiny, my future, my everything is in the palm of my hand. If I fail tomorrow, is because I didn't do something about it today.
Yeah.
It is as simple as that. There's no magic. There's nothing supernaturally about it. It is you work, you earn. You do not work, you do not earn. It's as simple as that. You earn from your sweat. That is basically what life is. Faith is one thing you need to be careful about, though.